Out of the chair.
Wait a minute. There we go. Wait. There. Now you can see me. Hello, Internet. Welcome to another installment of Romney's Reviews. As you can see, the location's gone through some changes, and, well, I've got this thing to deal with. So, what was the movie I was reviewing again? Oh yeah, that's right. Let me begin by saying I'm not that familiar with the 21 Jump Street TV show, mostly because I wasn't even alive while it was airing, so... Basically, all I know about it is that it's where Johnny Depp got his start, and that's pretty much all I know about it. Yeah, I didn't know what to expect. I haven't seen any of Jonah Hill's previous stuff, and yeah, with Channing Tatum, I always keep getting him confused with Tom Hardy for some reason. I don't know why. But, again, I was kind of going into this blind, and, well, I was pleasantly surprised. The story, well, it was kind of interesting, because the opening scene is essentially what you see in the trailer. It's just slightly extended and has some actual funny jokes they saved. This film actually makes fun of the fact that it's a movie based off of an old TV show, so it's actually kind of clever in that regard because it actually makes fun of the fact about the stereotypes, makes fun of the fact that it's literally a recycling of past ideas, and it also makes fun of how teenagers actually act nowadays as opposed to how they were portrayed in TV and how people acted back then. It's actually kind of interesting. This is probably one of the most realistic portrayals of teenagers that I've seen in years, because a lot of the teenagers, the way they wrote them, well, they actually reminded me of a lot of my friends in high school, which is a good sign, because of a lot of the kind of jokes they make and the fact that a lot of the popular kids are, well, essentially tree-hugging hipsters. And I've probably pissed off a whole lot of people by saying that line alone, so yeah, bite me. Now, one thing you're probably all wondering is, does Johnny Depp make an appearance in this movie? Well, he does, and the way his cameo is handled, without giving anything away, is actually, well, good. It actually adds to the story. It actually adds to the development of the characters. It's not just Johnny Depp going on screen, it's like, hey, I'm Johnny Depp, where's my check? It's him as his actual character from the show. Both him and his partner appear in the movie. I'm not going to really go into detail then because it could technically be considered a spoiler because of how integral to the plot it actually was. One thing I'd have to say about this is that you can really tell that there was a passion to this movie. That the people who wrote this, who were part of making it, were actual fans of the show. It wasn't just one of those usual cut and dry type things where, oh, we're just going to take the brand and do our own thing with it and make a whole bunch of money like a certain German filmmaker does. So overall, I pretty much enjoyed this movie because it had a nice blend of action, a nice blend of comedy. It portrayed things a lot more realistically than I expected, and as well as making fun of action movies in general, kind of like how the other guys made fun of explosions. They had their own little running gag when it came to explosions, and it was pretty funny. And it also has a fair degree of badassery in it. That's something I didn't really expect, because these characters, they're not just the Inspector Clouseau type of police officers that fumble around, bump into stuff, cause chaos, and then miraculously catch the criminal. They actually work towards it. It was kind of surprising, especially with Jonah Hill starring in it. But then again, most of the badassery stuff when it came to the actual detective work mostly came from Channing Tatum's character, as opposed to Jonah Hill. That's kind of part of a parallel that they established at the beginning of the movie where Channing Tatum's character was the popular jock, Jonah Hill's character was the nerd, and then there's a bit of a role reversal that happens, and thus Channing Tatum's character kind of goes, basically both the characters go through pretty interesting arcs, which is another thing I don't expect. I mean, with movies that are basically remakes of television shows, you don't expect that kind of depth. All I can say about it, it's an enjoyable film. If you're a fan of action films, if you're a fan of buddy comedies, if you're a fan of buddy cop movies, and even if you're a fan of 21 Jump Street, the original show that kind of gave Johnny Depp his start, you'll probably enjoy this film. If I had to give this film a number, which, well, I have to, because that's kind of how I do it, and that's kind of the established status quo, I'm gonna give 21 Jump Street a 3.5 out of 5. It's a really good film. It's really well put together. Whether you're watching in theaters or if you just rent it later, you'll enjoy it. So yeah, that's all there really is to say about this movie. Now I've just got to learn how to deal with this thing and... Do you realize how long I kept talking after you cut to black? Someone really needs to tell me these things. Yes, I'm stealing the joke from Robot Chicken. What do you want from me?